Welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about those bookends in public education, early childhood education, and adult education. My guest is Senator Carol Liu, who's a member of the state Senate representing Pasadena and La Cañada and Burbank and Glendale. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you very much.
So you are a lifetime educator. You're
Yes, I am.
Chair of the Senate Education Committee, and you have bills on both early childhood education and adult education. And they're two-year bills, so we're going to be hearing about these measures in the next year coming forward. Let's talk first about early childhood education. I remember going back to Wilson Riles in the 1970s when he was the superintendent of public instruction. He made a big push toward early childhood education, but it's still not where you believe it should be?
No, it absolutely isn't. And it's especially needed now, especially when we have such diverse populations and kind of an unequal playing field, so to speak, when kids enter kindergarten. So it's become very apparent that there are kids who do need an earlier exposure to learning opportunities.
We've seen so many studies that indicate that those kids who get that early childhood education do better in school. They behave better. They're more prepared for work down the road. I mean, they're a huge success rate. And
Correct.
we know children's brains develop,
Yes.
by the time they're 3, 4, or 5.
That's right. It's frightening, isn't it, how much more we know? But yes, absolutely. The research shows that children benefit from learning opportunities at an earlier age. They can take the information and they can mold it and make it work for them.
So what has been the hang-up in California? I mean, money, I suppose, is part of it.
That is a huge part of it. And but there's a growing commitment, kind of a political movement that has been talking about this for the last 20 years, that is gathering its steam. And we need to convince the governor that this needs to be on his agenda too. It's really important, this investment in our young people.
And that's what your legislation would do, make that investment?
Yes, but it also talks about, because for lots of folks, early learning or child care, all these issues, people see it as a social program, not a learning opportunity program. So we're just, on my bill, we're just trying to change the language and perhaps some of the attitude toward what needs to happen in early childhood education.
We only have a little time left. I want to talk about your adult education legislation,
Right.
and I guess the problem there is trying to decide what it should be, what it should look like, whether it's
Correct.
ceramics class or whether it's teaching skills for the labor force, for example.
That's right. So the state needs to make its priorities. We only have limited resources, and right now the adult education in California addresses about 1.5 million people, but the need is about 5 more million people. So we just need, and we don't have enough money to cover everybody, so we need to set priorities. And so my bill ran into a little snarl, and we're going to work it out. And in fact, the Assembly and the Senate Education Committees will be having a joint interim hearing on just what the priorities need to be in adult education.
And of course, the governor has called for the community colleges to pick up adult education.
Correct. And so we need to, and he's given us a 2-year hiatus to figure it out. And so that's what we're going to do.
All right. Well, best of luck moving forward. It seems like both of these issues are very somewhat contentious. They're going to spend some money, so we have to be careful with that.
Right.
But Carol Liu, a member of the state Senate, thank you very much for coming by and talking about these extremely important issues. We look forward to following their progress.
Thank you very much.
And thanks to our viewers also for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. A reminder, you can see this and other interviews on My Government On Demand, also on YouTube. Have a great day.